In support of the newly amended Employment Equity Act, President Cyril Ramaphosa has emphasized the pressing need to address enduring racial and gender imbalances in South Africa's top business positions. Speaking after the release of the sector-specific equality objectives in the Government Gazette, Ramaphosa pointed out that despite decades of transformation efforts, top management positions in many industries are still dominated by white men. Please kindly support us by hitting on the subscribe button, like and share. Thanks. This is a matter of justice, not just compliance, Ramaphosa said. The goal of the reforms is to create a more representative and inclusive workforce that reflects our nation's demographics. Companies with more than 50 workers are now required to file yearly equity plans and satisfy sector-specific objectives under the new legislation, which went into effect on April 1st. Companies that don't follow the rules run the danger of losing their ability to do business with the state. With an emphasis on boosting the participation of women, persons with disabilities, and Black South Africans in prominent positions, the Department of Employment and Labor has set goals in 18 different areas. The possible effect on corporate efficiency and the possibility that quotas would dominate merit have drawn criticism. Ramaphosa, however, allayed such concerns, stating that the objective is to guarantee that opportunities are provided equitably rather than to reduce standards. The president's backing coincides with mounting dissatisfaction over the sluggish progress of reform in the public and private sectors, even in the face of existing laws. The government is anticipated to increase up oversight and enforcement when the implementation phase gets underway to make sure employers make significant progress toward true fairness and change. President Cyril Ramaphosa has once again assured the public that efforts to improve the working environment would continue to be a top priority and reiterated his government's commitment to resolving past injustices and ingrained disparities in South African workplaces. President Ramaphosa stressed that despite progress since 1994, the legacy of apartheid-era prejudice persists in many industries when addressing a group of trade union representatives and business executives in Pretoria on Monday. According to him, the government will step up efforts to guarantee that workplaces uphold the nation's democratic ideals of equality, justice, and inclusion. The president's comments follow increasing demands from civil society groups and labor unions for more forceful measures to speed up employment fairness and change, especially in executive and senior management roles. According to data from the most recent Commission for Employment Equity (CE) report, Black African participation in senior management positions lags far below national demographics, with white males continuing to hold the majority of these jobs. Although statutory instruments like the Employment Equity Act had set the groundwork for change, Ramaphosa recognized these difficulties and said that more efficient execution and accountability were required everywhere. He cautioned that opposition to change would impede South Africa's larger development objectives and encourage private sector businesses to embrace reform as a moral and economic need. The president called for more robust measures to encourage women's progress in leadership positions and emphasized the need of addressing gender disparity in the workplace. If women are still underrepresented at the decision-making table, we cannot talk about transformation, he said. Ramaphosa's comments were well received by Business Unity South Africa, BUSA, which promised to collaborate with the government more closely in order to achieve transformation goals. Some sector participants, however, voiced worries about potential regulatory overreach and urged the government to strike a balance between transformation goals and competitiveness and economic development. In the meanwhile, state-owned businesses and government agencies have been urged by the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, to set an example by achieving employment equality goals in their own recruiting procedures. Ramaphosa called on all parties involved to have a positive conversation in order to come up with long-term solutions as the government gets ready to review important employment equality regulations. We cannot reverse centuries of injustice in a single day, but we can create the inclusive economy that our Constitution envisions if we work together and have a common commitment, he said. Helen Zille, the chairman of the DA Federal Council, reaffirmed the party's legal challenge against the Employment Equity Amendment Act on May 5, 2025, in Johannesburg. She said that employment should be given out on the basis of individual merit and talent rather than race, gender,